listening to the LOZ Podcast Network.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the LOZ Podcast Network. My name's Ken Lawler. You are either watching us in the LOZ app or you're listening to us on KRMS radio on Saturdays from 10 to 11 a.m. We call it the Simulcast. We love our Simulcast that we do with the radio group over there. You can also find the radio stations in the app. But it's a great way for people to kind of listen into the show. And also, if you want to watch the show and see us in person, you can do that through the LOZ app. And of course, you're going to want to see this episode because we have Susan Ebling back. Susan, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Ken?
Everybody, Susan's with RE/MAX, Lake of the Ozarks. And, we come to you for what's going on in the real estate industry. You're locked in. You've been locked in for, well, I don't know how many years now, but it's more than a decade, right? I mean, you've been in
27.
27 years, almost 3 decades. You must have started when you were 7.
Exactly.
So, yeah. But no, it's great. I love having you on the show because not only do you understand this market, are you an expert in this market, but you've grown up in this market. You've seen everything there is to see, all the ebbs and flows. Things are getting crazy now. We've got all these businesses that are going to be moving in pretty soon. I mean, there's construction going on, and I know some things are a couple years out, but there's going to start to be a situation where you're not just competing with people who want a lakefront property. You're going to be competing with people who have full-time jobs in these new companies that are moving into the market. So that's going to be really interesting, isn't it?
It is. I always say there's been a few times in my life where the lake has completely flipped, and we're heading into one of those times, in my personal opinion. And for exactly what you said, we've got so much development coming. And that brings with it not only visitors, but it brings more full-time people. So I'm pretty interested to see what the lake looks like about 5 to 10 years from now. I think it's going to be another flip, another different place, which is great for all of us.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we've gotten past. I mean, you and I both remember when you couldn't find bread and milk on a winter weekend. So. Yes. We're way past that. We're now into the 24/7, what's going on at the lake. People are staying open year round. A lot of businesses are staying open year round. So it's becoming what was once you have 90 days to make your money market into, right. Okay, this is a full-term market. But that also brings in the real estate market. I mean, where are these people going to live?
Well, the good news is, as you are aware, we've got a large apartment complex now on Nichols available. We've got a tiny home project, for lack of a better description, kind of near the Osage Beach Airport that Rick Ellerman has done. And we've got a whole lot of construction happening for full-time homes for all price ranges. You've got builders building $300,000 to $350,000 homes all the way up to infinity. But we are trying to prepare for this, for lack of a better description, onslaught of probably what's coming in the coming years. And if you just drive around, you can see all the construction of homes, of living.
The other thing that's kind of cool about it, and I mean, you've got a daughter who's almost in college, right?
Yeah, she's graduating in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. So, it used to be you had to leave. I mean, you had to leave the market and there wasn't jobs here. And now there finally is jobs here. So hopefully we'll be able to keep some of these young kids that are coming out of college or out of high school and keep them in the market because we need them. I mean, you got to have a workforce too.
Oh, absolutely. I totally agree. And like I said, part of the problem was there was no jobs for a while when we were younger, getting out of college. And then it became, well, there's some jobs, but there's nowhere to live. Well, I think that we are starting to catch up on both sides. We're just in this transition period right now at the lake where we're kind of scrambling to get these houses done so these kids, these young people have somewhere to live. Grandma's
call them kids
now.
We could call them kids. We remember when we were there, but we could call them kids. Yeah. I mean, it's really an amazing thing that's going on. And do you know how I know the market's flipping? Like you said, we now not only have, we had a sushi restaurant. We have another sushi restaurant in George Tucker, and we have another one coming online with Sushi by R. We're going to have 3 main sushi restaurants in this town. Now, if that doesn't tell you this town's flipping, nothing does.
We're big time now. We have sushi. I know. I feel like we're in the city.
Yeah. And it's not just like going to the grocery store and getting it out the case. So yeah, I mean,
Right.
it's real sushi.
Making it, preparing it fresh. I know. Listen, I'm telling you, I remember back in the day when we didn't have a Walmart and then I had to drive to Springfield or St. Louis to go to Target. It sounds ridiculous, but when we got the first Walmart, it was a big deal. When we got Target, that was a huge deal. And now we're starting to get all these, what I call amenities that people in cities are used to having, like sushi restaurants that we have just lived without for so long. And it causes people to be able, in their minds, the perception is, well, I mean, a lake has everything, so we can stay there now.
Well, I think it's great. But let's not forget that we still have a good contingent of people who want to come down and they want to spend their summer here.
Sure.
And they want to be able to boat and they want to be able to do all the things. And look, we see you've got listings that are 5 million, 4 million. I mean, you probably in 15 years ago never thought you'd see the kind of prices you're seeing now on some of this stuff. But
5 years ago.
right. But there's still, I like to talk about there's still a market there for everyone. And I think the lake is one of those few places where you can, no matter what lifestyle you want to live, you can find a place at the lake that's right for you. It's that big of an area. There's a lot of stuff going on, but is there still a place I can get for less than 300 grand where I can have a place on the water with a boat dock? Is that here?
Well, you got I have a couple answers to that. First of all, you can definitely get a condo with a boat slip. If you look at, I've got first quarter numbers kind of spread in front of me. If you look at condos, as you and I have discussed, condos last year were just tough, man. There was a bunch of them on the market. You couldn't sell them. The dues and insurance had gone up really high. They weren't moving. This year, first quarter, volume in condos is up 25%, and the number of transactions is up 24%. So they're breaking apart. They're selling. That's the positive news. Sort of the less positive news is the days on market is up, so it's taking longer to sell them. And the price that sellers are getting is, on average, from their list price to their sale price, their asking price to their sale price is down a little bit, about 3%. And that tells us that some of these people are going to have to make adjustments because the dues have gone higher. Maybe they're going to have to take a little less. But what's interesting to me is if you look at the price breakdown of condos, the biggest contingent of buyers, meaning the most that have sold so far, is in that $250,000 to $300,000 range. So you can get a condo with a boat slip, $250,000, $300,000. If you maybe are looking at a 1-bedroom, maybe less than that, you're probably looking at a 2-bedroom in that price point. If you prefer a house versus a condo, I haven't looked at exact numbers. I did it about a month ago, but there was something like 20 lakefront homes sold in first quarter under 400,000. Okay. So between 2 and 4, there were 17, and under 200,000 in the whole lake, there was 3. So they do exist. There's not a lot of them, but they're out there. Okay.
Yeah. And I think, it's just where do you want to be on the lake and what do you want to do? And I think, the condo market on this lake is an opportunity for people. Just because of the amenities. I mean, lock and leave, usually you get a fairly decent boat dock. I mean, most of the boat docks are upgraded. You're going to get a place to put your boat. And, if you look at it versus, interest rates play into it, but 4% versus 6% on 300 grand, you're not talking about that much of a difference. So It's not keeping a lot of people out of the market for a monthly. But like we talked about before, when we had you on, don't look at the interest rate, look at the appreciation you're getting.
That's right.
In the market. And maybe now is one of those times where we're having a little bit of a reset on condos. You could get some appreciation over the next 5 years. It's not going to be like it was, but you could definitely see a little bit. But again, at the end of the day, as I tell people, you could put that money into a stock, you could put it into whatever you want, but you can't live on your stock, boat on your stock, party on your stock. You cannot compare what you get out of the money invested in this lake in a place, because it's very rare, and it wasn't this way back in 06, 07, but it's very rare you're going to lose. You may not make a lot, you may break even, but breaking even after having 5 years of fun,
right?
I call that a win.
Right. And honestly, I mean, the way the lakefront homes are going, even if I have an example I'll use real quick. So I sold this family a lake home 2 years ago. The older children purchased it, but the grandparents kind of kicked in a little money, and they have a bunch of grandkids and they're all using it. And now there's an unexpected divorce. Divorce is always unexpected, typically. And so here 2 years later, we're having to sell it. And they were like, man, are we even going to get our money back? And I said, minimally, you're going to get your money back. Minimally.
And that's only 2 years. I mean,
That's
normally in 2 years,
two seasons, I should say. 2 seasons, not even 2 full years.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, the appreciation that we've been seeing here and on lakefront is just amazing. But so if you had to pick a hot spot right now, you'd say go for condos. That's an area of opportunity for people who are looking.
It's an area of opportunity, and where the most competition is right now is what we call the ultra luxury homes over 3 million. Those are selling like hotcakes. As you and I discussed, this whole market has completely changed since COVID. There's people coming from everywhere now. And the lake is such a deal compared to the coasts, compared to Colorado, compared to some of the Florida, these other resort markets. There are people coming from those markets who think that the lake is a deal. Now, those of us that have grown up here, we can't believe, $5, $6, $7, $15 million houses are selling.
Right.
But that ultra luxury, which we call anything over about 3.5 million, those things are selling like absolute crazy. And here's why it's good for all of us, because that brings the values of everything up with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that price per square foot is going to trickle down to anything.
That's exactly right.
I love the numbers you bring. You're such an expert on the market. You really help us, and you've been around forever, so you've seen it all. And it's so fun to have you on the show, and we're going to have you back next month as well. We'll kind of get state of the state on what's going on in June if we can from you. But thanks so much for coming on the LOZ Podcast Network and sharing all your experience with us. If you have to get something done at the lake, call Susan. Call Susan Ebling. She will get you done. She will buy or sell, or I don't care what you're doing. If it's with real estate, you got to get a hold of her.
Yes. Thank you, Ken. I always love coming on. Always love seeing you. I love talking real estate, of course. I could talk forever, so I sure appreciate the opportunity.
Susan sold me my first condo 29 years ago down here. That's how long we've been doing business together.
It was forever ago. I was young then.
All right, everybody. We'll be back right after these words.